That is the weirdest thing you have ever said.
This is Al in the afternoon, 3 to 6, Monday through Friday. I thank you for playing along. If you'd like to get involved in the contest here, it's Al at KTOE. Just send me a text. You can get on Al in the afternoon. That's a Facebook thing. Feel free to join us in the conversation there. Right now, the conversation seems to be between Val and John and who has a better bit. I don't know if you want to get involved with that or not. And then we have the phones, of course, 507-625-1420. Or you can come in the studio like my man here, Joe Paulson. He's with Pinnacle Business Traction. And I thank you for being in, sir.
Yeah, thank you for having me, Al.
Do this for me. I only know you via an email from Greater Mankato Growth. Jackie Sprague generally connects me with folks. Said you're going to love what this guy's doing. What is Pinnacle Business Traction?
Yeah, so what my business is, or the primary thing that I do, is I implement the entrepreneurial operating system for business and business leaders throughout southern Minnesota, eastern South Dakota, and then western Wisconsin.
But what does that mean in little words for guys like me? What do you do for those businesses?
Yeah,
so entrepreneurial, all that.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, it sounds like it's a big mouthful of words. Sounds complicated, sounds high tech.
Yeah,
but really, at the end of the day,
it's got to include the internet somehow.
It would seem like it does, but it actually doesn't.
It doesn't. Okay,
no.
So let's find out your background on you and how you get to there. Is this your own business?
Yes,
it
is, yes.
So Joe Paulson, from the area originally, where are you from?
I am, yeah. Actually, I went to high school in Lake Crystal, graduated from Gustavus Adolphus College, and got my MBA at Minnesota State.
Oh, fantastic. So you are here and born and bred. Married,
yes.
Kids?
Married, no kids.
All right. So you decide, what is your background before you started this business? How long has Pinnacle been around?
Yeah, so Pinnacle's been around for about 3.5 years.
Okay.
Prior to that, I worked at, which was Chris Steel Manufacturing, and ended up being Truck Bodies and Equipment International. So I had started there pretty much out of college. And had 24 years working in multiple capacities, and the last 8 years I was the general manager. And
now this new idea for a new company 3 years ago, is this something that was boiling inside you for a while? Is it a thing you knew was going to take off? What precipitated that? Yeah, I think deep down I kind of had that entrepreneurial spirit and wanted to do my own thing. This was a system that we used at TBEI. And I used it with our leadership team. We implemented it, self-implemented it, and really had some amazing results. And so when I ultimately left Truck Bodies and Equipment, I thought this seemed like the great thing, would be a great thing to start a business around. And so I'm still sitting here going, and what does that mean? Yeah. So what do you do? If I called you up, this place is run by a bunch of egomaniacs. It's true, by the way. KTOE. A bunch of egomaniacs. We need help. Somebody to put us online. Is that what you do? Get us functioning better as a group? Is that what I'm getting? Yeah. And so by name, it's an operating system for entrepreneurial businesses, entrepreneurially run businesses. And so the way it works is, in many cases, you have that entrepreneur. They had the great idea. They start the business. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of gets out of their reach. Usually when they get about 10 employees or so, that owner, that entrepreneur who got it all started, he or she, they can't run the business like they used to. They can't touch everything. Well, all the fun that was to invent what you wanted to do goes away when you're worrying about payroll and all the other things that come along. The entrepreneurial spirit dies in the paperwork it takes to run a company, I presume. You are absolutely right, yeah. And so what ends up happening is they get stressed out. They start working gobs and gobs of hours. They start to lose control of their business. And that's where the entrepreneurial business or operating system really comes in. This is where we help them put that minimal amount of structure into their business to allow them to have that life, get that life back that they had. Fair enough. Let's do this. Let's take the deep dive in it right after this break. As far as what does that mean? I got to put a bunch of stuff in the computer. You come in and we'll talk about how the nuts and bolts work next. Fair enough? Sounds good. All right. I've got him. He's Joe Paulson, Pinnacle Business Traction, right here in town. We'll talk what's going on next at KTOE.
It's nice to know a guy that knows a guy. Al Travis is on News Sports Talk, 1420 AM, 1027 FM, KTOE.
All right, I know a guy. He's Joe Paulson, and he is out there to help your business, especially if you're in the entrepreneurial field. His business name is Pinnacle Business Traction. And what I'm talking about is, okay, so I have this business, and I know it should work. We've got the right formula. We got the right thing. The widget is right. I've gotten to a point where I've got people underneath me and I'm getting lost in the paperwork of having to fill out the FICA thing and then the other thing and the health stuff. And I just know it could be better if it was run. I don't know, but I watch enough Shark Tank to get into trouble here. There's a wantrepreneur and then there's an entrepreneur and then there's people that run businesses. When I'm having those frustrations, is that when I call you? What point do I call you and say, fix me?
Yeah, and that's usually the right time. It's when you've gotten to that point where it's just gotten out of control, and you know that there was a better way. There used to be a better way, and you're just not feeling it anymore.
And so we contact your company. How do I know what I need or what I don't? Do I buy a package of your help? Get me into this. How do I get there and know that you're my guy?
Yeah, a lot of people that contact me, they've read the book Traction. That's kind of where this all started. Okay. And so the entrepreneurial operating system was the brainchild of a man by the name of Gino Wickman, and he is also the author of Traction, which is basically the manual for the entrepreneurial operating system. And so what Gino's passion, in many cases his obsession, was how do I make these entrepreneurial business owners more successful? How do I allow them to gain more control of their business? And that is what the premise is behind the entrepreneurial operating system. Okay,
so we've got that, but I call you, I get on your phone, I get a hold of you on the internet or whatever. How do I know you're my guy? Do you come in and do a dog and pony show, pardon the old-fashioned expression, to let me know what you can do for me? How do I even know if I'm in that spot? Or would you look at me and say, you're so mucked up, Al, this ain't going to fly? I mean, how do I know?
Yeah. So really how it usually works is that when somebody has that need, we'll line up a time where I'll come to their place of business and conduct a 90-minute workshop. And that is with the owner, with the leadership team. We kind of do an assessment both ways. I assess if they're in the right spot, that this will work for them, and likewise they're kind of evaluating
looking at you and saying
if this works.
And what does that run me?
Yeah, and so that's totally free, and so there's no cost to that. If at the end of that session we look at it and say, yeah, this seems like a good fit, then we just go one session at a time, and we just work this thing through to into your schedule, into your leadership team. To take it to the next point.
And you've been doing it for 3.5 years. Is this sort of thing that in 3 to 6 months I'm going to see visual signs that this is flying and it works? Do you get away from me after a year and you just know it's successful? Do you set up parameters that I know when, not have you not buy my business forever, but at some point you've done your task for me and we move on?
Yeah, no, and actually this is probably the fastest system available to get you up and going. So what we do is we have 3 sessions, 1 month, spaced out 1 month at a time. And those are the first 3 sessions. And we we purposely make it a staged learning environment. So we'll go into that first session, we call it Focus Day. That's where we're going to teach you all the fundamentals. We're going to put them into place. You're going to start using it.
Okay.
You're going to leave that session. Your team's going to leave the session, go back to the office or the place of work, and they're going to mess things up. They're going to think they remembered everything, but they're going to start to use it, and that's all good because in that time, they're going to realize and ask a lot better questions when they come back. So 30 days later, we come back. The first part of that session, we fix all the stuff that got messed up. Then we start to build the vision for that organization. What are their core values? What's the core focus? Where do they want to go 10 years from now?
Sure.
Then we space it on another 30 days, come back, and at that point we master those focus day tools that we first taught.
You've been doing it for 60 days now, so you're okay.
And we make sure that they got them. And then at that point, we finish that vision out with them, their 3-year plan, marketing strategy, all that stuff, 1-year goal, your 90-day rocks, and all your issues. We have all that packaged up. And then after that point, we just go quarter by quarter. Every 90 days we come back. We have an off-site meeting. We learn from all the things that took place the previous 90 days. What can we do better? We go another 90 days on and just put that plan together 1 quarter at a time throughout the year. Usually it takes companies about 2 years till they get to a point where we measure them and make sure that they are at least 80% strong on the 6 key components of the entrepreneurial operating system. At that point, they got it. They're ready to go on their own. They don't need me anymore.
And they'll know that. They would both know. By the time they get there, they'd see the difference. How does someone get a hold of you, Joe, so they can say, hey, you know what, I'd like to take a look at this in my business. I'm in that spot. You're not looking for companies with hundreds of people. What's your sweet spot?
Yeah, our sweet spot, or my sweet spot's really those entrepreneurial businesses between 10 and 250 employees.
Okay.
That's really going to be that's the time when this system will work the best. We do have clients that are smaller, we have clients that are larger, but that's a sweet spot.
All right, and how do they get a hold of you? Where do I find Pinnacle Business Traction?
Yeah, so you can, of course, Google it and pull it up on the internet, but you also can reach me at joe@pbtraction.com, pinnaclebusinesstraction.com.
All right, joe@pbtraction.com. I appreciate you coming in. I really do.
Yeah.
And I hope this works out for you. I didn't know you were coming out. I feel sorry that you drove all the way out here,
No,
but I
glad to do
appreciate you doing it. Let us know if we can ever help out again, all right?
Yeah,
Fair enough?
Thank you very much, Al.
All right, that's Joe Paulson, Pinnacle Business Traction. If you're in that group, you have 10 employees or so, and you're like, what is going on? Give them a call. Let them just see, hey, you got the coupon here. Give them Al in the afternoon, because he'll tell you, give you 90 minutes for nothing. Just tell them Al sent you. Okay, if you heard the interview, you know that doesn't mean anything. But still, you get 90 minutes free. This is KTOE. We'll be back after this.